So I want to track the timeline of this because we've known each other for a long time. You did the Producers Hotel back in the day. What year was it, and how long had you been doing comedy at the time?
I think it was me and Luca.
Luca Muller from Triple J.
Triple J, Breakfast with Conchetta and Luca. It's so sick to see him on Triple J. It's fucking awesome.
It's crazy.
That was, I think, 2015.
And you were a baby boy at the time. You'd been barely born. There was still you were still covered in embryonic fluid.
I was very young, yeah.
I get it myself. I was young.
It's crazy. Like, it is funny, like, hanging out with people. Like, who was I fucking hanging out with the other day? And they were like, you're the young guy. And I was like, dude, I'm fucking nearly 30 now. Like, I've stopped being the young guy for a minute.
But, you know, for the listener, you were in a hat. You were in a hat. That's it.
So good. Wearing a fucking hat too.
Yeah, I know. But I'm not saying I'm not a young guy. I got called out the other day by Steph Broadbridge when I was waiting for her to meet her for a coffee, and she saw me on the street and said I look like a 5-year-old kid, and I'm like, I'm aware that's what I'm putting out there. So if you're going, hey, I'm not the young guy, but you know, I called you Silent, I called you Jay and Silent Bob when I saw you and Aiden on the street corner before. You're rocking a youthful look. Yeah, is what I'm saying.
Okay, I will agree with that. I am dressed like a fucking child. Yeah, definitely.
But that is interesting to have that reputation, and I guess it's locked in based on when you start, because you were a teenager, yeah?
Yeah.
How old were you when you were doing the Fringe with Luca?
I was 18 then.
And at the time, how long had you been doing stand-up?
Like a year. I'd started when I was
fresh. Wow.
When I was like 17, and met Luca and Aiden, and because Aiden's from Adelaide. Like, we didn't know anything about like the Fringe or nothing, but Aiden was like, "There's a Fringe festival, we should go and do shows." And then we went to the Producers. It was great. We had a great time.
And the Producers has become a little bit of a where are they now type thing. That there's so many people who are crushing it, which I'm very proud of. But, you know, I curated that space as best I could. But it's just very satisfying to now see how far people have come, because you were performing in a sweaty 25-seater.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like, were there any takeaways from that, like, first festival experience? You know, because I feel like sometimes people can be confronted in those moments of going like, oh, is this what comedy is? This sucks. Or was it a exciting thing?
I think it was exciting. It was just exciting to be like, oh, sick, we're somewhere else and we're doing comedy and meeting people. Like, that was fun. Like, it felt like we were participating in something, because it's like, we're going to this festival for 2 weeks or whatever, and we're staying at Aiden's folks' place and like sleeping on couches, and then going and doing the show and hanging out with you guys and other Adelaide comics and people from Sydney and like all that.
Immediately you've got this network that's been opened up to you within a year of starting.
Yeah. And I mean, we barely sold tickets. I think we let most people in for free, because we were like, just come into the show. Enjoyed all the shows. There was one time, there was a day where it was like 45 degrees. And Luca and I...
hot. And I think that was before we'd installed air conditioning in the rooms. I think we just had maybe
I think there was
fans.
a fan.
Pedestal fan.
Dude, it was fucking hot as shit. I remember Luca and I were like, all right, we had this idea of like, let's go hand out icy poles and in Rundle Mall, and everyone who takes an icy pole will give them a flyer.
Yeah.
And so we did that for like a couple of hours, and we bought like genuinely like a couple $100 worth of icy poles, filled a bucket full of ice.
Were they icy poles or Super Dupers?
Icy poles.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I want, you know, because we've got different brand arrangements. I want to make sure. Because also I want to say that I said to someone who's performing there this year, Katie Isles, who was also performing in an attic that was too hot, and I said, I've seen comedians bribe them with icy poles before, and she took that idea on. It meant that she came out to an audience who were all sucking down Zupa Dupas at the beginning, but it's addressing the idea of like, I know it's sweaty as hell in here, versus comedians who are trying to pretend that isn't happening.
Yeah, see, we handed them out during the day.
Okay,
so they didn't
interesting.
have them at the show. And also we got 2 people to the show. So we
That
spent
might have
like...
been the misguided part.
Yeah. But everyone was just like, oh, sick, an icy bowl. And then just threw the flyer away straight away. But we got 2 guys and they were great.
To have the moment where you see your flyer discarded on the ground moments later after going like, I reckon this is we're onto
Dude,
something.
we're going to sell out tonight for sure. It's just
today's
bin
going to
full
be
of it.
different.
Yeah.
What was the name of that spitball?
Double Dippers.
Double Dippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
We did a few Double Dippers shows, me and Luca. I think we did 2 in Adelaide, and then we did 1 or 2 in Melbourne as well. We just kept calling it Double Dippers.
And so early on into your pursuit, before it is even a career, is you getting this big dose of stage time. That must have been huge.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was also it also made you go like, oh fuck, I have no idea what 20 minutes actually is. Like there were so many times where we would you have your 5-minute spots, and then you're like, all right, Mad, do them. I've got 4 of them. I can put that together and it'll be sweet. And then like trying to figure out how to do the 20 compared to just the 5 was such a gear shift that it would take us like 2 weeks or like 10 days to figure out how to put the 20 together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a different beast.
Yeah.
It isn't just let's glue them together because it doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Well, it's like, oh, why am I opening with that thing? I should definitely be doing that like somewhere in the middle towards the end.
And
like,
also I now have the ability to stretch out, so not everything has to be cut into chunks. Now I can go on a little stroll. I can repace this whole thing.
And also just like muck around, riff in the room, like talk to people, like try and loosen it up so
Ask
it's not
them
like,
how they enjoyed their icy pole.
Yeah. Did they throw the flyer in the bin or on the floor?
How did you get here while still throwing it away? So tell me, let's get a proper origin story at the same time. Is when's the first gig? What motivated the first gig, and were you always, I'm going to do stand up as a career?
Nah, I like I had never really thought about it ever. I mean, I remember one time when I was like young, I heard Ray Romano's stand up, and I thought that was cool. That like that's a thing, but it had never been a thing in my head where I was like, oh, my whole life as a kid I'd fantasized about being like I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I had
neither did I. But you hear so many origin stories like, oh, ever since I was 6 years old, I saw this on the TV. And
dude, a lot of the time I hear those and I'm like, are you fucking lying? Like I've never heard of that.
It was always my dream to host SNL. I'm like, what sort of deluded, crazy person like even has those sort of thoughts?
Yeah. But I had I'd always liked comedy. Like I loved like sketch comedy and all that sort of stuff. I thought it was cool. And I was like, man, it'd be so fun to like write sketches. Like that would be really cool. And me and a friend, when we were in high school, we were like, dude, let's come up with sketches and would want to film stuff and all that. And then he was like, I think I want to try stand up, because he was listening to like comedy podcasts. And he's like, yeah, I think I want to try like stand up. And I was like, all right, well, if you try, I'll try. And we went to Station 59 in Richmond.
Oh, yeah.
And booked a spot. And we're both so nervous and did our sets. And we were both terrible. But I was like, oh, that was so much fun. And he was like, I don't need to do that again, kind of thing.
Oh, interesting.
So he stopped doing it pretty much straight away. And I was the one who was like, I might actually keep doing this, even though I had no interest in really pursuing it.
Oh, interesting. So, and where is he now? Is he like a hotshot lawyer or something?
He's I actually don't know what he does, but he's still my best friend. But I don't know what his job is. It's one of those jobs where it's like he moves stuff for company. Like he explains it to me and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You're so right. There's so many friends have those sort of jobs where you've heard them explain it once or twice and then you have to just start going, yeah, that job that you do. Like, because it would just seem rude after a while to still get clarity on, but what is it? Yeah.
I think I actually asked him the other day, I was like, can you actually, because I've been away for a year, I'm like, can you just explain to me what your fucking job is?
Because I've also felt about like, we invite our friends to our shows, like they come and see us at work.
Yeah.
But we don't get to do the other side. We don't get to visit them and go, oh, that's what you do. You don't get to go and support them at their job and and chill out by the water cooler and go, you know what, you're doing it.
Dude, you're killing it today. That was a great shift.
But I sort of wish you could, because I had this idea for a sketch ages ago, but just that idea of when if it feels so one-sided, getting your friends to come support your show, and then I sort of want, if I could give it back to you, if I could have the ability to go and support you at whatever your thing is, you don't have a thing, so I don't get to come and spectate and go, you're doing real well.
I know, that's why and obviously it gets harder the more like serious your job gets and stuff, and we're very lucky where we can like play as a profession, like that's cool. But like I almost want to be like, man, have like a hobby thing that I can go and be like, fuck yeah. Like he was like this mate was like kind of doing DJ stuff for a bit. And so whenever there was like a house party and he was like, I'd go and we'd just hang out and get trashed and dance to him DJing. And it's like, this is me supporting you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, have a thing and then I can come and do it. A lot of people are real normcore and they're like, this is my thing, is coming to see your thing. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which again, we are very lucky that we get to be the cool thing that people come to.
This is true.
But I'm like, fuck man, I'd love it if you were DJing.
Yeah, or at least like get into pottery so I can go, hey, that's a good pot you made.
Can you make me a pot? I'd love a pot.
And then I'll pay you $25 for the pot and then it will feel like this is a nice exchange.
Yeah.
Anyway, so hey, any listeners that have come see me, I appreciate it. And I want to pay it back. That's the people pleaser in me. So when does it start? When do you start sniffing it out to go, oh, this could be something. I might be onto something here. I might have a knack for this. There might be money in this.
Without sounding super lame, kind of never.
Oh, interesting.
Like I never really thought about pursuing it. Like the idea of doing it professionally after like maybe a couple of years when I was like, oh, this could be like sick. This could be a cool thing that I'm going to try and pursue. But I've always had the thought of like, even if I worked like a 9 to 5, I would still do this. Does that make sense? So it's like, I kind of don't care about the money and don't ever think about it. Like,
it's not one of those things where people go, all right, if this doesn't become a career in 5 years, then I'll quit and I'll become a this. It's, I'll always do this in some way. Yeah,
I'll like continue to do it. Maybe I would get to the point where I would like due to responsibility or whatever, have to pull back and not do it as much, like not every night, but it's like, I'll still do it. So like but I think that's also beneficial for me because anytime I've thought about like, all right, I need to make this much money, I have to do this. I then, especially during like festival season and shit, dude, I just fucking overthink everything I'm writing. I overthink the show. I don't enjoy it.
Because you're thinking of what outcomes and the bottom line.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to move ticket. I have to sell. I have to do like all that. And like, it just takes all the joy out of it for me. And then the show is not as good. It just is like kind of lame. It's more surface level. Even though like, not like surface, but how do I explain it? It's like,
it feels less subjective and more objective. It feels more calculated and cold.
Yeah.
Would that be right?
Yeah, it's just not as fun.
This is supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Like that's the cool thing is that it's a fun thing.
Yeah.
But it's like as soon as I started thinking about the money and progressing, the fun really got sucked out of it.
Well, remind me as well, do you have someone looking after those sort of things? Are you managed? Do you have an agent? Do you have someone?
No, I'm like independent now. I was with a management company that imploded quite dramatically.
Oh, good. This is part of our Junkyard series. We've had a few. We've had a few to sort of debrief a little about.
Dude, I'm the luckiest one out of all. I had no money in the business. I got a visa out of it. I was sweet.
Congratulations.
Yeah, cheers.
So yeah, well, I mean that's intriguing too. Let's. I want to get stuck into America and the motivation, but also I want to just sort of track as well this idea of the joy of it and doing it for the joy. I think is really healthy.
Yeah, right. Like,
because a lot of new comedians listen to this and they're going and the cliche that comes up a lot when I'm meeting new comedians is they'll go, I'm just interested in doing comedy. Like, I know I won't have like a Netflix special one day, but like I just want to do it. And that's the thing is the joy of doing the thing and getting opportunities to do the thing.
Yeah.
Without the calculation of it better turn into something, otherwise it's not legitimate anymore.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of like the whole first year in New York. I was like, things need to happen.
So
now.
What motivated the move?
like I'd gotten told a few things by like agency people over there. There was maybe I shouldn't throw them under the bus because I technically still work with them, but that were just sort of described the dream. And then I got there and I found out quite quickly that that wasn't going to happen. And so I was like, I want to go there. Well, the reason
is it that idea when people say like, all right, if you want to be in comedy, you have to be where comedy lives. Is that general idea?
So it was more like just the amount you could do it was what was appealing. Like the idea of being able to do it multiple times a night, running around a city, doing spots and hanging out and like getting better. Like that really excited me. So that was the main reason I wanted to go there to get better and just have fun and do it a lot.
And then you were confronted with, what was different?
What do you mean?
Like, so that's the promise.
Yeah.
There'll be lots of fun gigs and you'll be gigging a lot and essentially growing as a comedian at a much more rapid pace than one would in Australia or a smaller scene. What did you discover instead?
That none of that was going to happen. That they were like, no, you should work on your social media and then we'll do that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, which is kind of annoying. But it's like I then had to, it was kind of good, I think, in a way, because it made me go, do you love doing this? Because like I feel like this is sort of what I've said to people who are like, yeah, I'm thinking about moving to New York. Like I want to, like Aussies, I'm like, and they're like, I want to move to New York. And I'm like, Mad, you will find out whether or not you're going to want to do this for a long time. Because New York will give you so many chances to quit. Like so many, there's been so many times where it's like, I could throw in the town now. And it's like, that would be very reasonable and justified.
So give me an example of what one of those confronting moments would look like. Just like a dog shit gig or being turned away?
Going to the only gig that I had done like in a couple days. It's an open mic. I've been doing open mics for like months back to back, trying to book spots, trying to get in at like clubs, trying to like meet people, do all that. And the only things I'm doing are like New York City open mics where there's like no one, you're paying money to do the mic. I remember paying $7 to do an open mic and I was on last and everyone left after their set. And so it was me doing 7 minutes to the MC.
Wow.
And dude, here's how like wild my ego is.
To not do that gig.
Yeah. I was like, as I was walking up to the stage, I was like, I bet I'm going to get him. Like, I bet he's going to laugh. And man, the silence of someone sitting, you and one other person in a room, they're on their phone while I was doing material as well.
Yeah, they're doing their Uber Eats order. They're thinking about what they're going to eat afterwards.
Dude, it was so brutal. And then I remember there was another gig where I was so broke that I forgot that you had to pay $5 to do that open mic. And so I went and I did the spot and the guy was like, can I have the $5? And I bombed like hard. It was awful.
Oh, he's asking for the money afterwards.
And I forgot.
It's gotta be up front.
Dude, I had to be like, I'm sorry, I don't have $5. Like I actually don't have any fucking money. And then that hit me as well. I was like, dude, I'm fucking flat broke. If it wasn't for my partner, like we would have left. Like she's been like so fucking supportive. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, this is the huge thing. And having a partner that has your back is gigantic. Like my wife's been away for a while and she's back now. And just the little things of it's the little things that are gigantic in that support. Because doing things alone is crushing, and I think that's also worth considering for the people listening who are those people going, oh, do I move to London? Do I move to this? Do I move to that? What's your support network look like? Even if it's not a partner of like, who's got your back? Or are you going to be alone? Who
can you like rely on or at least like talk to? Like that is like so fucking important. Because like, there were times where like if my partner wasn't there, I'd be like, I don't know really who I would go to right now. Like I'm so bummed and I feel fucked over. Like I feel kind of dumb for getting like tricked. And then also I have this drive to like do this thing, but it's like I can't I feel like I'm just like walking in a dark tunnel. Like I can't find the outside. And it's like, if I didn't have her, like I would have, I don't know what I would, I mean, I would have had to move back to Australia and just be like, fuck it. Like I can't stay
tell
there.
the person at the airport I don't have any money for the flight.
Yeah. Can you please book me a flight? I'll do 7 minutes.
Well, let's balance out some of this, hopefully. Fingers crossed. What about the wins? Have there been bright spots?
For sure. Like there's just been like, it's weird. It's like, so a lot of the show, it was so tough for so long that when I started getting better shows and they were going well, it was like, how do I explain it? It was almost like the reminder of like, oh fuck, like I think I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah,
like, and it was like having that confidence back. Like I remember there was one time I did, man, it was an open mic as well. It was an open mic. It was at like 3 p.m. on like a Friday. And I just went up and I had some newer stuff and I was like, I'm just going to do this shit. I'm going to throw it at the wall, see what happens. And the set just went great in front of like, 10 other comics. And I remember I left the venue and the ending scene of Pursuit of Happiness? You know how he's walking down the street? I was literally doing that. I was walking down like Broadway, just like I had that moment of like, oh yeah, because someone at the show was like, hey, I run a show at this club. I'll book you for a spot. And it was just that thing of like, okay, things are fucking moving.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
And this is the thing about environment. Yeah, it could be an open mic, but unless we're put in an environment that's conducive to comedy even catching fire, then we are just in environments where we are going, oh, I guess I'm dog shit at this. Like if you're a skateboarder and the half pipe is full of gravel and you're going, oh, I can't do any of my moves. Like, yeah, of course you can't.
Yeah.
So until you're in the environment where you're like, oh, I can actually do the moves, I can actually pull off. Yeah. Then you are just left going, oh, I guess we all suck. And this is why I'll say to comedians, think about alternative stage time, because you'll hear comedians who go, oh, I actually found like a music open mic that will give me 10 minutes and I'll go and just do gear there. And that'll be better than doing a bringer or paid show for 3 minutes at a dog shit part of town. Go and fucking, and this is not for everyone, but the Robin Williams approach, go busk or whatever. Like find stage time in unconventional ways because maybe there's a different course to the, there's a different route to the stage for you potentially.
For sure. And it's also like you might find the more alternative thing is like kind of what you want to do as well. Like that was sort of a rule I gave myself when I went to New York. I was like, all right, I'm going to do shit that I don't do. Like I don't host ever. I used to hate like hosting. And then when I got to New York, I was like, well, I'm going to host because I'm going to take any gig that I can. And then Chenny was like running a monthly show where he was working on his like hour and he was like, do you want to host? And like he just got me to host like all of them for like 6 months. Huge. And it was great. And it was that thing where it's like, oh, sweet. I like did it. I'm doing a different thing that I don't do. And I've got this consistent sort of gig doing it. And very grateful to him for like giving it to me. But it was like learning that new skill as well, like learning to be loose, learning to bring the crowd together and like all that. Because I'd just been so opposed to emceeing for so long that then when I finally did it, I was like, oh, it's actually not that bad. Like,
I mean, I'm such a huge advocate for it. When I moved to Sydney, I was like, I better get good at emceeing because I got to get paid, and it changed everything. But then to somewhat of a detriment because I became less experimental as a comedian during that time. Going, all right, I'm going to forge my MC skills, which means I'm playing broader. I'm an excellent MC now, but I don't have as much texture. Yeah, okay. Which I'm trying to get back more of. Yeah. You take bigger swings when you're doing your act as a headliner than as the MC.
For sure. I always rate spots over hosting just because there isn't that, like there is a little bit more pressure to be like, all right, well I want this to be a good show for like, the acts and then like whoever's headlining because I want them to have fun. Like, it's their show kinda. So there is that extra layer of stress that's not there when you do a spot. But then when you nail it and the show goes down well, it's like, cool. All right. I steered the ship. Like all the acts were great and we steered the ship and we got there and it's like a really nice feeling. And then you get that cash.
And then you get that cash.
That cash is good.
Tell me, were there any observations that you had about, I need to alter my act somewhat to fit in, or tell me about the different sort of styles you noticed?
There is like a pacing. There is a definite New York comic pace, but I noticed it when I first got there. I was like, maybe I need to pick up my pace. Maybe I need to change how I flow. But then I was seeing so many people talk in that cadence that I was like, dude, you can't differentiate. Like I actually couldn't tell you who, like their names are they're all the same. It's like a blur. So I'm like, all right, well, I kind of don't want to be that. So I was like, all right, if I can stay true to me, but increase my writing, like increase the punchlines as it goes, but not fuck with the flow, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And also they've got to tune into a different accent. And also it forces an audience to, I think like that radio frequency dial of like dialing into your new frequency as well. Like, okay, who's this guy? And slowing down can be a way for people to go, all right, I'm going to take notice in a different sort of way.
Yeah.
Because you're totally right. When everyone sounds the same, it's just nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's like, why? Like, what's the point of listening to you when it's like I just listen to them and you guys are the same fucking person? So it's like it doesn't matter.
Point of view.
Yeah.
Who's going to stand out?
Yeah.
Let's segue into the show, and I'd like to chat about like certain elements of it because I know you're also still working stuff out. So tell me about this show and how it relates to the time in America.
Relates to the time.
Well, in that, like, a big chunk of this show is coming back with those experiences, and here's what I've noticed. What was the goal with this show?
The goal with the show, genuinely, like, when does this podcast come out? Does it come out after? Okay. Well, please come to the show. But it's like kind of just to work on a lot of material. Like I wanted to work on a lot of material. Like I wanted to do a show in Melbourne, and I wanted to have fun in Melbourne. But there's a bunch of bits in this show that will kind of only work in Australia just because of contextually. So I was like, okay, I'm happy for them to be in the show, but my goal would be to go back to the US with like a new 25, 30 that I'm like happy with or on the way to happy with. So that was sort of the main focus. I wanted to just get like a bunch of material type for when I went back, and I was like, man, now I've got a bunch of new gear that I can mix with some old stuff and like, try go on the road, try book a show in fucking Boston or something.
Let's just investigate this moment as well, because tracking the narrative, the listener might be going, didn't you just tell us about how many shitty times you're having in New York and now you're going back? So tell me, let's just touch on that briefly. Is like, what is making you want to return? Especially in the current political climate.
Yeah, the political climate is a whole other beast. I think what it is like I love the city. I love how much stand-up there is in New York. I don't feel beaten down by the city yet. And so I'm like, I'm ready to go back for round 2. Like, do you know what I mean? Like this is the thing my partner and I constantly talk about is like, we will call it like if it gets too hectic, if we're just done, or if we're proper beaten down and can't do it.
It's already a huge achievement that you're there, toe in the door, foot in the door. You have a accommodation. Like these are already, visa stuff and all of that stuff that feels very overwhelming to my brain. That's already a huge win. So I think that makes so much sense that if you're all right, we've got our foot in the door. Let's see what we can do with it. Makes sense.
It's like I want to just keep giving it a crack until literally they're like, no, you can't re-up on your visa. You got to go.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, cool. We tried.
We've had enough of you.
Yeah.
We need $5 more if we want to stay.
Yeah. You got to write a new 7, dude. You've been doing that 7 the whole time.
All right. So tell me, let's dig into this show. Last night you were telling me, can we dig at this drag bit a little bit? Would that be useful to you? So
yeah.
Let's give the listener like as much as they need, because I'd like to investigate what do you feel it's not working here.
Like of the story, give a brief rundown of the story.
Yeah.
So the bit is about how I went to it contextually, it's about how like young people protest and how I think it's great but can be funny. And I went to a drag show where I saw quite a wild performance where a lady sort of got naked and was like, sucking off a hot dog and like covered herself in sauce and like all this. And then at the end of it, she grabbed the microphone and dedicated the performance to the people in Gaza. which is
as ketchup and mustard is running down her body.
Just fully covered.
Yeah.
And there's also like crazier details about that performance that I've just left out because if I kept, it's too much. Like it actually gets pretty fucking wild. And so the bit is like just sort of commenting on that. But my thing is like I don't want the joke to be like, oh, look at this person doing a dumb thing and then trying to say an important message. Because in my mind, I'm like, man,
and also making fun of the message as well.
Yeah.
The message is valid.
That's what I don't want it to be. Making fun of the message through her doing that. So it's like I'm trying to find this other person that's like a straw man kind of person who's the one who saw that and now supports Palestinians, which again, not making fun of it in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, for the record, it's the silliness of hearing that for the first time and going, this is the time it's gotten through. It wasn't in the news or the photos coming out of Gaza. It was the drag performance and going, you know what?
Yeah.
It's got some good points.
Yeah, this lady gets it. I get it now. But I just feel like there needs to be, and I just haven't found it yet, like a couple more punchlines and maybe like a better full stop on what is the bit. Because the bit does obviously circle back around, but it's like I just haven't found it. And I've been throwing different stuff in it, trying to every night. And like,
what other things have you experimented with?
I was trying to do, I did it one night, it didn't work, about like them going to the protest. And again, I don't know if this is too red hot of a thing to say, but like the person who saw that and is now supportive of the Palestinians being at a protest and being like, from the river to the sea, and then under their breath being like, no onions for me. And like,
that's so stupid.
It's the dumbest thing in the world. But again, I was like, I said it because I was like, I think that's so silly, and people would understand that. Again, I'm not making fun of what is going on over there or the people there. I'm just making fun of this individual.
Of art's relationship with protest. Yeah.
But I don't think that came across very well, and it kind of got like and I was like, oh, fuck, that is absolutely not the reaction I want. Like,
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to highlight the first thing that stuck out to me with this bit that I really loved is and this is interesting as well with your mission, with your heart being in the right place, is it starts with you talking about how much you love drag.
Yeah.
And the local drag bar that you go to a lot and just love the performance.
Yeah.
And because of the optics of you, like your stage persona to me is like, I mean, we've talked about that idea of like youth and therefore, and also you have a sort of youthful naivete on stage of like, I don't really like, and what I love too about your persona is you have both like, I don't know anything, while also speaking with conviction on a lot of things, which I think is really great, almost in like and it feels almost sort of diminishing to sort of call it, you're not stoner comedy, but it's palatable to stoners.
Yeah, okay.
Stoners would feel like you're speaking on their frequency. Stoners would feel like, oh yeah, okay, this guy's got some interesting.
Dude, this guy's like thinking about stuff, man.
Yeah, it is that sort of thing, but like it's packaged in a way that is very palatable to the common man, so to speak. And you even do it. I want to pick at this as well, because I feel like when you're on stage, you are almost doing drag in that you heighten certain elements of yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what intrigued me too. When you said I love drag, I looked at you differently and went, Blake's doing drag.
I'm doing my version.
Yeah,
of drag.
you're doing your version of drag in that, like, you're dressed in a certain way that says so much. Like you look at how some comedians are dressed very blandly, almost, the comic costume of just like I'm wearing a black t-shirt and black jeans, and it's almost like blank canvas style.
Yeah.
You've got a lot to excite the eye in terms of like, who is this person, persona, what are they sort of representing? And it looks like someone at a skate park who would be up for a good, like a great chat at a house party, smoking a doobie and talking about the world. Like it's that guy. Yeah. Almost like, that's who I am on stage, is I'm that guy at the house party that's going to have an excellent chinwag about the world.
Yeah.
But your language and your vocalization changes too. Is that deliberate, or do you notice you're doing that?
I think it's genuinely a lot of the time I'm just pretty fucking G'd up. Like I'm pretty stoked when I'm up there. Like there's certain bits that like obviously I throw a bit more at just because like energy wise, because it's like, oh, this needs it. Like this needs me to be more performative. But a lot of the time it's like I'm just like keen to be there, which is what's been so different about this year compared to fucking a lot of the other years is like I've been more like introverted and like a bit more back on stage because I'm like not fully believing in the show, not fully then believing in myself, kind of not wanting to be there a lot of the time. Like the show I did in 2023, I like didn't really want to do it. And I feel like that showed. Whereas this one, I'm like, man, I'm fucking right before I go out, I'm literally like, let's fucking go. Like, I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun.
The American comedian coming out. Yeah. And it showed. So like you do, like you're performing to what, how many people are in that room?
It's like 100.
Yeah. And you're rising to that occasion beautifully. You're coming out performing like the star that they want to see. They want to come and see, you know, you're at this fancy hotel, fancy room. Yeah. You're on after, who is it? Claire Hooper you're following?
Daniel Muggleton. Claire and Daniel and then.
Claire and, yeah. So, you know, you're rising to that occasion with that beautiful energy and nice open body language too. There's that beautiful moment that I wanted to investigate as well. I mean, we'll get back to the drag bit, but I want to just poke at some of these elements. There was a moment last night when you said, oh, this is unprofessional, I forgot my notes, I'm going to go backstage and get it. Is that okay? And then you had this beautiful moment of like, as you were behind the curtain, you said like, oh, imagine if I just didn't come back, or imagine if I continued the show from back here. Yeah. Was that just a moment improvised last night?
Nah.
Interesting. So I was scratching my chin in that moment going like, this feels too good to be true.
Dude, that happened the second night of the run. And I just had more fun doing that than I did like a bunch of the bits. So I was like, dude, can I try and like bring this in every night? Because for me, it like it kind of perks me up because every night I'm like, this could go so bad. And it's like fun to like, you know, a thing that a friend said to me, or says a lot, Lucy Fox from Traveling Sisters.
Yeah, we love Lucy.
Lucy's the best. She always says like, play in the space. She's
and
like,
also highlighting Lucy, Traveling Sisters, another Producers Hotel graduate.
Yeah, real.
The alumni.
I didn't know Traveling Sisters were there as well. Yeah. That's crazy. There is a wild crew that's come out of there. Hey. But she always said like play in the space, like play in the space, like with like stand-up stuff and acting stuff. It's like be in the room. And that was the thing that when it happened the second night, I was like, damn, I fucking feel like I'm in the room. Like I don't feel like I'm just throwing bits at the crowd. I feel like I'm there. And especially when you come off stage and you're standing kind of at eye level with people, it like changes the dynamic. And like, it's like, oh, when I'm on the stage, it's like, oh, I'm in charge. But when I'm down here, I fucking have to be funny because it's like we're all at the same level. Like that stage is gone.
It's also beautifully manipulative. You go, oh, I've got my notes. Is it all right if I go back and because it's about 15 minutes in, people are like, yeah, of course, man. Like, and so you've got their buy-in, they're supporting you. You then go backstage and go, I mean, backstage is just a curtain. So there's a literal peek behind the curtain moment to this is all false. Yeah. This is all pretense. Yeah. And the fact that you pointed out you have notes, you've also pointed out this is all pretense. I'm showing you the literal strings now. But the masterful thing is you're showing them all of that and going, but look how good I am in that this doesn't, I'm not afraid of you suckers. It is that sort of thing. And stepping back on and they go, like they applauded you for being brave enough to go and get these notes and come back on after doing like a fun little bit behind the curtain. And so they've sort of, you've got them to double their buy-in of you at this nice like 15-ish minute mark into the show, which is beautiful. There's also this idea of that I hear that I really like, which is the show hasn't started until you've made your first mistake, which is just a sort of this idea of going, oh, like, you know, if the mic falls, like the wire of the mic falls out and you go, oh, I'm just going to click that back in. All right, can everyone hear me? Yeah, great. And they go, yeah, we love you. Is enough to sort of go, oh, we're humanizing this person, and this is just a live moment. This person in front of us, this is just happening. I love that I love that you got me, but also you didn't get me.
Yeah, dude,
let the record show.
Every comic who's come to the show, the only thing they've asked is like, is that real? And every time I've had to be like, nah, but it's my favorite part in the show.
So the drag bit, I think your heart is in the right place because you start with this beautiful thing of saying, I love drag.
Yeah.
So it doesn't start with what some comedians would make the mistake of and going, I saw this stupid art show recently and immediately we're going, oh, okay, where is this person's heart in relation to this act? It's full of adoration. You love it. You also show your license and the authenticity of like, I know it so well in that I'm going to use the language. You know, I think you say like sissy that walk or whatever, and it's enough to go, yeah, I know the lingo. I'm in it. I'm saying this with love. So I think heart is well and truly in the right place. We then describe the act and we get laughs from just the act itself. Tiny things, but even the fact that you say she put sauce on her chest, I went, it's America. Is ketchup a funnier word? Is ketchup funnier than sauce? This is, this is micro, but at the same time, when we're looking for the poetry of a bit, is ketchup funnier because it's a funnier word than sauce? Sauce is nothing. There's no good consonants in sauce.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a thing that when I was in the US and I said ketchup, it got a reaction. Maybe not like a laugh, but like you would hear something in the room. Because one, it is definitely a funnier word than sauce. But here we don't say ketchup. Yeah. So it's like that's just kind of gone. But hopefully we'll come back when I'm. I think Australian audiences would like hearing ketchup. I think they're not stupid. They get it. Yeah. But do you reckon it would be weird as an Australian saying ketchup to an Australian audience?
Well, I mean, even you say like she's putting tomato sauce, all over her body. I mean, yeah. So, and even if you just use it as a synonym, you know what I mean? Like, and we get it. You've been talking about America for the last 20-ish minutes. Like you're contextualizing it to us. And I think as well, like that would be what she would think of it as. Yeah. So I don't think it would be a jarring thing. I think it's just fun color. Yeah. Okay. And gives it just a little bit more texture to it.
True. Yeah, okay. That's not a bad shout.
Ketchup on her titties is a funny phrase. Like these are the stupid things that come out on this podcast, but that's funny. Sauce on her breasts, the S sounds, they suck. That's nothing. Yeah. That's not funny. We want hard consonants. We want T's and K's.
Yeah, T's and K's are fucking...
But then getting to the meat of the bit, and I almost want to channel a little bit of Lewis Garnham, because he's so good at looking at social commentary, political stuff. Yeah. And what I loved about how you did this was almost like, peanut butter making the medicine go down, like putting the pill in the peanut butter, in that the bit ends with you talking about, and then she finishes her act by saying, this is for the people of Palestine. And then the joke is about like, oh, isn't that funny to just sort of slap on a political message at the end of, a sort of absurdist artistic routine. You go, oh, that's a bit jarring. And then investigating that as a concept. And then I just think, and what what I love about that is going, oh, you are now talking about Palestine with no apology around talking about it. There's no because there aren't many people talking about it, which is surprising. Yeah. It's not surprising because people are terrified of talking about it because they'll go, oh shit, I could lose my job because it could be misconstrued.
I think that's what's so interesting about coming back to Australia is so many people in America are talking about it every day. Interesting. And not well. Yeah, right. Like they are making jokes that you would be like, thank God you are not known because your career would be fucking done.
Well, in that they're mishandling it or they're talking about it in inappropriate ways?
I think comedy at the lowest level in America, and it's probably the same here, I'm just like less in touch with it, is sort of borderline sociopathic where like whatever is in the new, whatever has happened, whatever awful thing. Yeah. People will just go for the joke and not really think about how there's like a person on the other end of the thing. Not saying that you need to be empathetic in every, I don't know, like do comedy however the fuck you want, but like there were times where like I remember we would go to shows, me and my partner, and we'd leave being like, isn't it fucking nuts that they're just saying that? Like, and they're not in any way being like, oh, maybe that's like a crazy joke to make right after the horrific things that are happening.
Yeah. The shock value, the edginess, and sometimes just being two-dimensional about a multi-dimensional subject.
Well, everyone there as well is trying to get the first joke out on the news story. Like a lot of people film their sets, so they get the first joke out and then post it online straight away, hoping that pops off. So it's like not even thinking in a human way. It's like quite robotic in that sense. Some people, there's obviously fucking awesome comics there, but like at a lower level, it is kind of nuts. And so I just assumed that a lot of people were talking about what was going on over there, especially like in the Middle East. And I was like, I'm going to talk about it, but indirectly, but through this sort of performance and story that I saw. But again, not like, I'm not being like, here's how to fix it.
Yeah, and like, nor do you even, you're outside, you're talking about it secondhand. But what I love about it is you're talking about it, as I say, no apology, no, oh, I'm going to go there now. You talk about it frankly and matter-of-factly, which is what we need to hear more of, because it just need to be normalized of like there's a genocide happening on the side of the world.
Yeah.
And that's not good. Like it needs to just be, it needs to be that. And that's what I liked about that, because you are, as I say, the guy at the house party just going, hey, this shit's fucked, eh? And people need to hear it from in that palatable, oh, that guy looks like me, and his saying totally normal things that we should be normalizing and not afraid of saying. So I love that just as a subtextual thing for the bit. Then in terms of like more punchlines, we take that idea of going, woman covered in sauce, wouldn't it be funny to see that in different contexts? And wouldn't it be funny if that was the message that got through? I would maybe experiment with just the idea of artistic thing, especially like absurdist artistic piece, and then what other messages could you attach to it? You know, if this is true, what also is true. I think sauce and mustard is amusing, but then seeing it in imagining different contexts isn't as rich as what else you could do in terms of bizarre artistic pieces, and then slapping on another piece to it. And I know you have a beautiful, satisfying callback at the end that does do that, but I sort of go, because you are going, here is the premise of this thing that you've arrived at. After the drag performance, you are going, oh, isn't it strange that this artistic thing that had nothing to do with Palestine had this message attached to it? What would it be like to see that in different contexts? That's what I sort of feel might be interesting of coming up with other bizarre pieces and attaching movements to it.
Yeah, okay. So just, and like sort of, I guess, describing or referring to other things and then attaching message to the end. Yeah, that's a good shout. My only thing was, the reason why I've been hesitant to do that is because of the ending, but I'm guessing there's enough time in between that I can also do that and people probably still won't sniff it out.
Especially because if with the tongue-in-cheekness of like, oh, imagine, it's so bizarre to me to even attempt that of do it. And like, it's almost throwing another wink at it. It's like, it's almost, and because we sort of know you're going to do that to some degree, but I think, imagine doing this, imagine doing that, imagine doing this, and then we're sort of, you motherfucker, you got to get us in the end. But I think the more you can go, guys, this is absurd to try and slap things on that have nothing to do with it and enjoy that, rather than going, because at the moment it's, imagine putting tomato sauce on yourself and slapping a message on it. Imagine putting tomato sauce on and slapping a message, and it's just sauce rather than art plus. Yeah. And the Lewis Garnham of it all, I think he would dig into that more. He would go, what is art's relationship with message? Should art have a message? Like, would that piece of that woman, doused in sauce be enough without the message attached to it? Like, would I have gone, oh, that was really fun? Or would I go, oh, it's something missing from there? Because do we need art to have a message for it to be worthwhile, or can you just have a fart? Can a comedian come on and do a fart sound effect without going, and also feminism, like, you know, like that's what I think Garnham would do with that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Does it like posing the question to the audience, does art need to have a message for it to be substantial and valid, or can it just, and whether you just do now comedy plus thing, you know, would you guys be satisfied tonight with me just coming up here and going like, bums are weird, aren't they? And or would you need me to go, bums are weird, and also we need to stop fracking? You know, like we like, so maybe it's that. Yeah,
I do. Yeah, that is a great angle to try and explore it on, and just try to run it as much as possible. And I like that idea of like, would I have left that performance had she not shouted out Gaza and been like, I don't know, I feel like there was room for more. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then maybe you could talk about, go on a flight of fancy and keep it contained to that scene. You know, the next performer, they just came on and did a funny lip sync to Britney Spears. And I was like,
poorly sang Madonna. Oh.
Yeah, I was like, it was pretty, it was like a virgin. It's a great song, but like didn't really talk about penguins covered in oil or something, you know. I got notes, you know, if you want them. I want to round out today by just touching on the gala and the value of the gala and how that experience was. Was this your first time doing the gala?
No, it was like my fourth.
Oh, interesting. Marcel, do your research. But tell me about that, because, you know, for outsiders, they see that sort of thing and go, how does any of that stuff work? How do you... And also, do you see a payoff in terms of audience numbers as a result? What's the experience like?
The experience is awesome. It's like, you know, it is stressful because it's like a big gig and like you want it to go well. And it's like, here's the thing that I always find is crazy. If someone today was like, hey, do you want to do 4 minutes at the Palais, like before or do it on this show? I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah. That sounds awesome. But as soon as there's people with the fucking headsets on and the lights and the camera, it becomes so much more stressful. Like, it's like, oh, what if I bomb? What if something goes wrong? Like, what if I fuck the wording up and then I have to start again in front of 3,000 people? Like, that's so stressful, and it's being filmed. So it is stressful.
I want to be invited back as well, because I've heard comedians talk about the idea of like, oh, I did the gala last year, but I didn't get invited back this year. Does that mean they don't like me anymore? Am I not in anymore?
Yeah, for sure. It's like, you just want to do well. Like, that's all you want. You want to have a good set. And like the first time I did it, I remember Nick Cody said, because he was doing it as well, and I was like out the back and I was very nervous. And he was like, just so you know, you're going to go out there, you're going to black out, and then you're going to be walking off stage, and you'll have no memory of if you went well. You'll have no memory of like if you said the words right. You'll just be off stage. And I did it so arrogant. I was like, I've been doing stand-up for a bit, man. Like, I'll be sweet, you know. And then walked out. I have no memory of how that set went. And I just remember coming off and being like, dude, he was fucking 100% right. Like, what just happened? And so I didn't really enjoy that one. And the second one, I felt like I was a bit iffy on. The third one was the one where I fucking felt present. Like, I felt like I got the laughs and I felt good. And then this one, I like had my set that I was going to do, that was a set that I hadn't filmed, and I wanted to have it filmed somewhere. And the opening bit, I was doing in spots and it wasn't working. And I was like, oh, do I keep the bit or do I replace it with this thing that I wrote a week ago that has been like killing because it's so dumb and it's very silly? And I was like, and I absolutely advise against this. Whenever people are like, I've got this new thing that I really like, I'm like, that's so stupid. Do something that you could wake up and do. If someone woke you up in the middle of the night and asked you to do 4 minutes, that's the set you should do.
Yeah, because you might be blacking out.
Yeah. And, but I was like, I mean, the whole point of this trip really in essence was like take risks. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take a risk. And the morning of the gala, I sent through the new joke and was like,
because they need the script.
They need the script because it has to be cleared by like the ABC and like their like whatever team. And I sent the bit through and they were like, yeah, you can do that. And then
and do you think it's good? Or?
Yeah, what do you reckon? It's funnier than the other one? And it was so bizarre because like it's a bit that involves me like posing and being very silly that like I couldn't what's the word? Like the absurdity of like everyone is backstage like pacing, thinking about like their 4-minute set that they want to be tight. And I was doing the same thing, but I was like practicing posing for in front of 3,000 fucking people that I was like, if this doesn't work, this is going to be brutal.
Yeah.
And I went out and the first thing, it got a good reaction and I was like, sweet, we're fucking ready to roll. And then the rest of the spot was one of the most fun sets I'd had in stand-up, I reckon, just because I felt present. I was fucking looking at people. I was like being in the room and I was having a fun time. And yeah, it was fucking awesome.
The kid's back from NYC, baby.
Yeah.
It's coming in hot.
It's weird though. Those gigs are like, yeah, the best, but so scary. Cause like then you look at the lineup and it's like, dude, fucking all these heavy hitters, like all back to back. It's like, I kind of don't want to follow anyone, but it's like, you got to follow someone. So it's like, I don't know. You have to be.
Do you feel like you're now one of the gang, or do you feel like an outsider? Where do you sort of feel like? Do you feel like, oh, is there a sense of, oh, I've made it, I've arrived?
Nah, I don't think so. Because I think that's such like a fickle idea. Like this idea of made it is like, I don't really know what that means to me. Because like what we were talking about at the start, it's like, dude, again, making it to me is like just being able to do it regularly. Like that's kind of like. I feel kind of sick in
making
that.
it is actually making it.
Yeah.
It's a verb.
And so it's like I guess I feel like part of the crew in the sense that like I know heaps of people in the lineup, so I feel like I could call them friends and like that's really cool. And a lot of the people like I've seen on the galas before stand up or like I'd seen them do their first ones and all that sort of shit. And it's like it's kind of cool. It's very cool. So I wouldn't say I'm an outsider, but I do feel a little bit less connected to the scene this year just because I'm not here, if that makes sense as well.
Yeah, and that's the courage of taking that, you know, the bravery of I'm going to go to another scene for a while and what that might mean for opportunities at home.
Yeah.
This has been a great chat. Tell people where there's a few chances left to see you.
The show is at the QT Hotel on Russell Street at 9:30. So if you want to come through, absolutely, that would be amazing. You do kind of know a few of the secrets of the show,
but the listeners of this, they want the behind the scenes.
Yeah, okay,
they want that. They're gonna stand up as when you go behind stage and go, I need to get my notes. Like, everyone, this is false.
Is pre-planned. Check the recording on his phone. It's happened every night since the second show.
It's a great show. People should check it out. This has been great, man.